Hi crafters and welcome. This is our examples with portion of the weekend series. So yesterday we introduced you to Simply Beautiful, which is a 13-piece stamp set, a 16-piece die set. So we showed you all about the pieces inside it today. Now today we're going to make a card together. So I am getting out the coordinating lovely and beautiful 12 by 12 paper, and we're going to make a card with this. These do not come as part of a bundle. These come in a suite, but the suite is what I call a mega suite, so it has two stamp and die bundles, this embellishments ribbon, I think maybe an embossing folder, I'm not sure, but I rarely don't get the suites. I usually stick to the bundles. So let's go ahead and make a card using this paper. Now, before I pick out which cardstock I'm going to use for my base, I'm going to decide which paper I'm going to use. And yes, this does have gold foiling on it. So the A sides, we have that. We have these big flowers. We have just the shiny. Oh, that's pretty. And then, oh, we have all the little dots. I don't know if you can see it, but they all have little gold. There, you can see it. Little gold sparklies. Now, the back sides, we have flower, leaves, more daisies or flowers. All right, so looking at the back side of these, I think I want to use this, because I do like that back side too. All right, so now that we've decided on what DSP or designer series paper, we're going to go ahead and make a card base. Now I'm looking at this, and I think maybe I'm going to grab, I could use Calypso Coral. Is that Pretty Flamingo? Let me look. Let me grab this back, because on the label it tells you the different colors. Oops, there's a little bit of a glare, sorry. So it looks like it's Calypso Coral, Darling Duckling, Fresh Freesia, Old Olive, Peach Pie, Petal Pink, and then of course gold. So I think I'm going to use Calypso Coral to bring out these flowers, because these are very prominent. But I think I want to bring out that. Of course, the Darling Duckling. Nope, I'm going to bring out Calypso Coral. So let me grab a sheet from over here on my side area. So it's about time to order again, because now I'm opening my last package of Calypso Coral. So usually when I open my last package, that tells me when it's time to buy a new one. So let me take an old pair of rubber cutting scissors. Now that we don't have, I always trimmed all of my clear, which were the rubber based. They were rubber based, then they were clear mount, but it was like the orangish, reddish stamp. So I don't have to use these anymore, because I would trim all mine down. Even though they came pre-cut, I like trimming mine closer so I didn't get edges. All right, so I'm going to take out one sheet of Calypso Coral, and we're going to make the card base. So I am going to go 5.5 by 8.5. This is the 11-inch side. This is 8.5. So I'm going to go 5.5 by 8.5. But instead of scoring at the normal middle, which is 4 1/4, I'm going to score each end at 2 1/8. 2 1/8 is 1/2 of 4 1/4. And so this is going to be a gatefold card. So I'm doing 2 1/8 from both sides. So then that's going to meet in the middle. Now I'm a little bit off, so before I do my final crease, I'm going to pull that down there so they meet exactly, and then I will do my final crease with my bone folder. So now those meet exactly. All right, so this is, remember, 2 1/8 by, this is 4 1/4. So now I want to do a layer, and I want to do a very small layer. So I'm going to go 1/8 down from both of those. So that means I'm going to go 2, and since this is now 4 1/4, I'm sorry, no, it's not. This is 5 1/2. So this is 5 1/2. So I'm going to go 1/8 down from that 5 1/2. So I'm going to go, here's the 5 1/2 mark. And I'm going to go, the first mark is the 16th, the second mark is the 8th. So I'm going to go down 1 and then down 1. So now I have my perfectly aligned layers. And I'm going to keep this side. I could use this side, but I think that's just going to fade in too much. So I'm going to use this side. So that's going to be, and yes, I could have cut across this way at 5 1/8 first, and I would have these matching up, but I don't mind that these don't match up. In fact, I think I'm going to do it, no, I do like it this way more. But I could have gone, cut my 5 1/8 this way, and then when I went at the 2, these would have been matched up. So that doesn't make, let me show you so you can make sense. So it makes sense. So here I would go 5, I would 1/8 under that 5 1/2 mark. And then on my 2 inch here, I would, and let me go, yeah, we'll do it this way. So I would go, no, I like it this way better. Sorry, I'm going upside down because I like this repeat pattern better. So there's my 2, there's my 2, and also by going upside down, now when you turn it right side up, it matches to your flaps. So you could do it this way, or you could do it that way. So we'll go ahead and do the continuous pattern. Also, I have, this is going to be the inside of my card, so I'm going to go 1/4 of a layer down there. This is a normal panel here, so I'm going 4 by 5 1/4. Throw these away, and that's going to be my inside. So let's go ahead, let's get out my stamp and seal. That one, I see the orange tape coming, so I'll grab this one instead. Now when you cut paper, you'll have a smooth side and you'll feel a side with a ridge. That ridge side goes down. That's where your cutting blade went through and kind of pushed the paper down when it was cutting. So let's go ahead. We're going to look at this. Sometimes I like folding these back so I can center better. All right. So now let's bring these pieces up. This is going to be on the left side here. Now that I have that white paper underneath, it's easy for me to see for my layers. If that white cardstock wasn't laid down, I would have probably gone like this to do your edges because it would be hard to see. All right, so now this is my other piece here. Again, against that white cardstock, it's easy to see. I am going to bring this flap down so my ends are kind of in the same area too. Yep, that looks good. So there we have our flaps and our continuous picture. Like I said, using these, I've already lost one, but using these would have been okay too. They just wouldn't have matched up. All right. So now on this, I think I think we're gonna do the big flower there. Now, with our new system, I actually take that pull apart. I stamp this on cardstock, the whole stamp at once, cardstock, and then I put that thinner plastic on top of it with tape. That way, I don't lose that, and I know exactly where things are placed. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to take the big flower. Grab this. Let me grab a piece of, let's see if this is big enough. Yep. I'm going to grab the big memento. This is a craft white pad that comes uninked, that I inked with my memento free inker. I just find it easier to use than this. On little stamps, that works good, but the reason I like this is there's more inking surface versus this, where you have to possibly get a little bit of a line if you're not careful. Let's go ahead, go here. All right, so I have decided today that I'm going to use some colored pencils. I haven't used watercolor pencils, sorry. Haven't used those in a while. But you'll see on one of my examples, I had another product I found when I was rearranging my room that I used on the other examples I'll show you in a little bit. So I'm going to take out the two orange looking ones. So it looks like that is Calypso, Coral, and Pumpkin Pie. And what I'm going to do is I have blender markers, blender pens, I'm sorry. I want to find, I have a brand new one that I'm going to be using. These, and I should write on there, watercolor pencils, because these I used with the pastels. And even though you scribble them out and all that, I think the pastels are a little harder on coloring than the watercolor pencils. So I do want to keep them kind of separate because those probably will get roughed up sooner. All right, and I'm not going to show you because you could sit here forever and watch me color. But I'm going to put down a big line around the outside. If you wanted it to be darker in the center, you would put a dark line in the center. But I'm going to do that. Now this is basic white cardstock, so if you go over too many times, it will pill. And I forgot, when you're using a blender pen, you usually want to use StazOn because the memento can bleed. So I have a little bit of that down. I'm going to take the lighter color. I'm going to go in the middle here so it's a little bit lighter. It's the same color family, so I don't mind using the same end. But like I said, you don't want to go over too many times when you're using the basic white because it's already starting to pill a little bit. All right, so you would go over and you would color all of that, the whole flower. Like I said, I'm not going to show you the whole flower just because it is a little tedious and tiring to watch someone else color. You know what I mean? All right, let's go ahead. Let me get my... There is a die cut for this. But if you don't have this bundle and you have a large flower like this that you're using, you can also always take, and I'm going to sneeze again if you watched my video yesterday. Oh, sorry, I sneezed a couple times during my video yesterday and I apologize for that. All right, so this is my ribbon snips. These are my paper snips. Over on my work desk, I have another pair that I use to trim paper, but they're also my glue scissors. So they're, when I have like adhesive on the back, that's what I use. So these are my straight paper scissors, no glue. And you would just go around. I like taking a large part of the white space off first. So then you can come in here and you're always going to kind of have your scissors somewhat. You're moving your paper and not your scissors. And again, I love dies, so I'm not a big fussy cutter, but this is how you do it. Yes, I know you're watching me cut paper, but I also feel like this is better to watch and less timely than me coloring in the whole flower. So, oops, I want to do a little divot there. So as you can see, I'm moving my cardstock and not my scissors as much. This is going to give you a smoother line. I learned that from, I think her name was Pat Clemenson, when I used to work at the Stamp Shack in downtown Naperville. She would come in, she was an artist, and she would rep for a lot of the stamp companies at the time. Penny Black, Hero Arts, oh, what was the one with the fun ducks? I don't know, House Mouse, I think that's part of Penny Black, or it was. Anyway, she was the first one that would say, you always move your paper, your scissors should pretty much always stay in the same area. They can go up and down like I'm showing you, but they should always stay in the same area. That way you're going to get your best cut. Something I've remembered for 30 years, Pat. All right, so there's my flower. And what I would do here, after it's all colored, I would put the dimensionals or tape only on one side. That way your card opens and you can get to your inside. So there's, and let me go ahead. When you do a fun fold like this, it's always good to also crease it on the back side. So then your card will lay down a little flatter. All right, so there's that one. That would get taped down here. I'm just going to put this here to help hold it down. But there's that card. All right, let me show you the other cards I made. This is one I used. This one I did use StazOn, and I used the pastels, the soft pastel assortments. Used my blending brushes right to those pastels to color. Did a little blend splatter on the back. And then this one, I really focused on the dies. So I cut out a bunch of those dies that don't match up to the flowers. Again, at that blend speckle in the background. Glued these down and used those sayings. So here, holding you in my heart is right here, to the happy couples right there. And that was using, like I said, the dies that don't match up. These that are dark match up to a stamp. The ones that are light don't match up to any stamp. So that's how you know. So that was using those layering. All right, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great Sunday. I gotta go because now my alarm's going off. That means I have to take my medicine. And I hear my husband coming back from the grocery store. So time to start my Sunday. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye for now.